Happy evening to everyone. Welcome to Mahipati Talks. As a part of this COVID-19, because we had some time, colleges stopped, schools stopped, but learning never stopped and sharing of knowledge never stopped. With all the well-wishers and people like Dr. Naresh, we have been running these sessions every day at 5:30 and 7 o'clock by inviting the resource persons who are intellectual in their own field, especially related to the soft skills and also the other areas like psychology and life skills, which is very important. I'm glad that many resource persons have been delivering their sessions related to the life skills and the personality development. And I'm glad and proud to introduce Dr. Naresh Aruri, who is one of my best friends and well-wisher. Thank you for having accepted to deliver the Mahipati talks. Dr. Aruri Naresh, working as PGT in English now in MJP PBCWR Boys School and College, Nagarjunasagar. He had more than 1.5 decade of teaching experience. Qualified UGC NET twice and qualified AP Set in 2012 and TS Set in 2014. Presented more than 15 research papers in both national and international seminars, conferences, and symposiums. Compiled a lesson in English textbook prescribed for MG University, Nalgonda for UG second year students. He has been working as soft skills trainer and freelance mode for nearly 10 years now. I know him as a soft skills trainer, and he has been teaching since he was doing his pursuing his PG, if I'm right. Thank you,
Yes,
Naresh, for having the passion to deliver the session by imparting your knowledge and training them related to soft skills. As you all know, the topic for today is decision making and problem solving. Which is very important in our day-to-day life, especially during this COVID-19. On one side, we're not going to get the salaries, full salaries. Of course, no, I'm not talking about the government persons like you. And other side, no, there's no salaries or off salaries, off payment, or else there's a lot of stress happening here. And what kind of decisions we need to take care and how to make, how to solve the problems. So that's simple. Our life is merely dependent on decision making and problem solving, which is going to unwrap a lot many things what can be implemented, how we can go ahead. Now I request Dr. Naresh Aruri to go ahead with this topic, decision making and problem solving.
honored, sir. Uh, all the distinguished participants like Dr. Rahatkana Madam, Ramarao and Chandrasekhar sir, Fayaz Pasha, Radha Madam, and all. I would like to thank from the core of my heart to Srinivas Garu for inviting me as a guest speaker for today's session to to share my views, which I have known a little on decision making and problem solving. Now, shall I go with the screen sharing, sir? Right. Am I audible to you, sir?
Visible, Naresh,
Is the
yes.
screen visible to you?
Yeah, his screen is visible.
Right. Right. So decision making and problem solving, these both go hand in hand. As you all know, these two things go hand in hand. So let us see what exactly the correlation between decision making and problem solving, and how we have to make decisions. What is a decision making and what is a problem solving? Can anyone of you please come upon what is a decision making and what is a problem solving, and the relation between problem solving and decision making?
You can use the chat box. If somebody would like to speak, they can raise their hand so that I can unmute them.
Yes, sir.
Naresh would like to know what do you know about decision making and problem solving. You can type in the chat box or else you can raise
Yes,
your
sir.
hand so that we'll unmute you. I think they are still making a decision to write about decision making.
The relation between problem solving and decision
Chandrasekhar, go
making.
ahead.
Hi Naresh.
Sir.
Yeah,
Hi, sir.
in my view, problem solving is like finding the solutions for the problems and looking into the grassroots levels rather than looking at that particular point of time and taking going coming to the conclusion. And after solving the problems, then making a decision is one more task which is more important, and making the decision is one which decides whether to get success or not. And even most of the people feel like postponing and taking a decision later. But even postponing is also a decision making, I feel. And this is what I feel about the problem solving and decision making.
Yes, sir, you truly said.
Thank you, Chandrasekhar.
And anyone else, sir?
Naresh, you need to speak a little louder. Anyone else, please?
Anyone to add a few points to that? What Chandrasekhar sir rightly said.
Nishad Begum says, if there is a plan and we make decisions in plan, there's a problem to solve it. We call problem solving, I think.
That's true, ma'am. Right. So problem solving is a communication that analyzes the problem in detail before decision making. So it's a pre-step before we take a decision, we make a decision. As Chandrasekhar sir said, as Nishad Begum madam said, a problem solving is we really go to the grassroots level of that particular problem. We see the problem in not a problematic way. We see it in some other way. We make it as a chance for us to see, and we feel like, yes, this is the cause of the problem. So let me
You
get
need to
into this
speak a
problem.
little louder,
And
Naresh.
am I audible, sir? Now?
And now you're audible.
Right. So problem solving is a communication that analyzes the problem in detail before decision making, as Chandrasekhar sir rightly said. Before we make a decision, we really have to see what exactly the problem is, where exactly the problem comes from, how, why, when, where, and from whom it has come to us. We have to interrogate in such a way, then we'll come to know exactly, oh, this is what the root cause of the problem. So this is what is really, stucking me. So let me have a answer for it. Let me evaluate the answer for it. Then finally, after we get all the solutions and all choices, we pick a particular thing that is called a decision making, which results a choice. Problem solving is exploring lot of options, and decision making is picking the right option and making a decision to complete that particular action, that problem. And decision making can be regarded as a mental process resulting in the selection of a course against among several alternatives. As I already you people know that this decision making can be regarded as a process resulting in the selection of a course of action among several alternatives. So it results, these alternatives comes from problem solving. So problem solving is a predecessor to decision making. A problem solving may happen first, then later we make a decision. So we get a lot of alternatives that results a course of action, right? Every decision making and finally produces one particular choice that may be sometimes positive, sometimes negative, sometimes fruitful, sometimes unfruitful, sometimes maybe resulting uh, that yield good results, that maybe sometimes that yield unexpected results, unprecedented results, which after we make the decision, we choose a particular alternative, then we'll come to know about it. So what is a decision? Making a choice from two or more alternatives, that is called a decision. And making a decision is taking the particular alternatives into consideration and using the our choice and letting it solve. So the process of examining your possibilities and options, comparing and choosing a course of action is nothing but a decision making. Now, let's move on to the next slide. So here, like in the first picture, you have a problem. You have a problem. So what you do when you have a problem, you will explore many possibilities. As already um, our people said, we get lot of options. When we explore, we get a lot of options, and we have to be careful while we examine those problems. What exactly could be the problem and how it has come from. So here in the second picture, that's a, that's actually a group decision making. I'll let you know about the differences between individual decision making and group decision making in my further slides. Let us that. Let us. We sit and we think about that problem. We get a lot of alternatives. We try to make a particular alternate, and we get an idea. Okay, I'll go with this. Let me go with that, so that this will be this will yield good result for me. This will complete my task. This decision can make me happy. So such a way you can feel. So this is a process. Like, you have a problem, you explore options, and out of those explore options, you pick one particular alternative, one choice, and that choice is nothing but decision making. For example, as sir said, now people are in this pandemic time have have been facing lot of problems, lot of issues, like many issues, like unemployment is a main cause. And being a social animal, we used to uh, get along with each other all the time earlier days, but now that is restricted to single person. Now we don't have uh, a social space. We have only individual space. We are saying that, let me be in comfort zone. I don't want to come out. I don't want to explore myself in the groups. So now the thought process of people have been changing. From these all past 5 months, all people are changing their thought process, changing their mind. They're not going out. If they go out also, they go for a particular task, they just complete it, and they'll come back. As in yesterday's session, mind mapping, that was almost related to decision making. Yes, Tejas ma'am, you raised your hand. Do you have any question? Yes, decision making is to understand the circumstances. Okay, good. That's a nice point. As I already mentioned it, problem solving, we explore a lot of options for a particular problem. Right. We may have, for example, from a place from Nagarjuna Sagar to Hyderabad, I have to move. I have many ways, many routes. I can go back to Macharla, and I can go back to Guntur and I can take a train. Or I can directly come from Nagarjuna Sagar via Halia, Mal, and Hyderabad. Or else I can go to Nalgonda, and again I can from Nalgonda to Hyderabad I can come. And I can go to Miryalaguda and I can catch a train too. So such a way we have lot of options, lot of explorations, lot of possibilities, lot of choices. So out of all those choices, one choice you take, one choice you take, and you make your decision. That is called decision making. So these both are correlated, intertwined, problem solving and decision making. Right now, so the basic questions to ask in defining the problem. Then you said, sir, what is problem solving? Problem solving is a predecessor to decision making. Then we must know how to solve a problem first, to take a decision, to make a decision. Before we make a decision, we must know how to solve a problem. So these are the basic questions which you have already known. Who is causing the problem? Is it yourself, or is it with your friends? Is it with your family? Is it with your colleagues? Is it with your uh, neighbors? Like, who says this is a problem? And some people will come and tell you that, you are enjoying your life, but some people come and say that, your kind of living is not so good. For them, it is not so good, but for you, it is good. You can ask me a question, clever question like, sir, being a social animal, don't we have to follow the norms and forms of society? We have to. But mind it that you are living your life for yourself. If you live your life for others, then that is not at all called a life, right? Who are impacted by this problem? Are you really going to impact by this problem, or uh, is it your family? Is it your kids? Is it your students if you are a teacher? Is it your employees if you are a leader or a manager? So we ask these basic questions to know the grassroots level of the problem. And what will happen if this problem is not solved? Like we have a quadrant in a time management skill: urgent, important, not urgent, not important. So there are some kinds of problems we need to be immediately addressed. Those are urgent and important. So those kind of activities we give prioritization of one and we finish off them. Those which are not urgent, not important, we give the least importance in our uh, you know uh, in our way of activities. So this way, when it comes to this problem solving, is this problem really need to be addressed? Is it need to be addressed now, or can be addressed later on? And what are the symptoms of that particular problems? What are the impacts of the problems if I do not want to solve this problem? Let it this. For example, as unemployment is there. So in this pandemic time, in COVID time, you are out of your job. Your employer said, sorry, we cannot pay now because you're not working. You're being at home, and we do not encourage work from home people. And we don't want you to be keep your life at the stake by coming and working outside. So remain for 2 or 3, 4 months. Later on, we'll offer you job if there is a really need. But as of now, we don't want your services required. Like they have given uh, a pink letter or like so. Then, then think about your circumstances. Fine. If you are not employed now, is this really going to be problem for you? For it, of course, it is really a problem for most of the employees if they lose their employment. And what are the symptoms? And what are the impacts which you really like to know? And how to overcome all these problems? Is it really need to be solved? Yes, it is, because without employment you cannot survive, because you are living on your hand to mouth a day, like every day. Whatever you earn, then only you are able to live. Then for you, it is really a problem. We have been uh, coming across all the news, the newspapers, in on TVs, like teachers are working like they are selling vegetables. They are working somewhere else, like a daily wage labor. They are even attending daily wage jobs, of course. So that impact might be there. That impacts will be there. Fine, for a particular point of time, for a particular period of time. And then next, where does this problem occur? Where does this problem have an impact? With due respect, not to this pandemic, when we think about other problem, so where does this problem occur from? Where does this come from? If you are an employee, is it from your office? Is it from your top management? Is it from your colleagues? Is it from your down management? Or is it from your family? Is it from your some other people? And where does this problem have an impact? Is it going to impact you directly or indirectly? So you have to think about those problems too. So you have to list out all these options. Then only you'll be able to uh, find a particular option which is really going to address your problem. When and when does this problem occur? Some people, they never know that this problem is there with them. For example, like in terms of health, now everybody is health conscious. If I'm not wrong, everybody is health conscious. They are now drinking uh, lukewarm water in the morning. They are washing their hands never before, like, and they are being so self-conscious nowadays because of this COVID. Maybe sometimes it has some positives and some negatives too. So now people are being so self-conscious, health conscious. Now then they are going for some tests and all, and they are coming to that there are some kinds of ailments are there with them, like some sugar levels, some blood pressures and all. In this past 5 months, many of the people have diagnosed with all these kind of problems because they are undergoing some kind of trance. They are having some kind of issues like what is happening to me. What if I am having something like if I'm catch up with this COVID, if I do not have any kind of ailments, then if I have good immune system, then I'll be out of it. If I do not have, then I'm going to be bothered a lot. Like these kind of thoughts are happening a lot. So many people never know what exactly is the problem with them. And when did this problem first start occurring? When you really think about, then you'll come to know about it. This is what. This is where I felt like this kind of symptoms. This is where I felt like these kind of uh, situations I have come across. So that's the root of that particular problem. That's the uh, grassroots of that particular problem. Yeah, you'll come to know about it when you really investigate into it, self introspect into it. When you think about a particular problem, then you'll get all these options. And why is this problem occurring? Why is this only with me? Right? Is it with the same with the others? Am I really uh, suffering with this particular problem? And why? And how? And how should the process of your system works? How are the people currently handling the problem? This is sometimes will have positive impact and sometimes will have negative impact because my problem and your problem are same, but my way of dealing with the problem and your way of the dealing will never correlate sometimes because I may have my own style of solving my problem. If you try to get into my shoes, the same with the problem, then you may or may not. Right? It is. It may be sometimes good with some. It may be sometimes uh, not work with someone else. So this is how these basic six questions. If you can really pose yourself, then you'll come to know the exact problem. For example, let me give you a case study of a student, because as I'm a teacher, I would like to quote most of the situations from my experience levels. As you are aware of, uh, nowadays parents thoughts about their kids, their expectations, high level expectations. I want to see my kid as a doctor. I want to see my kid as an engineer. I want to see my kid as a civil servant. I want to see my teacher, I mean, kid as a someone else. Like they have a lot of pre-noted, predetermined notions on their kids. That's for good. Okay, fine. Even I too have on my kid like he should do like that, but I never force him. I never force him like do this, do that. So as it's natural, uh, parents do have some expectations on their kids. A kid
Naresh,
who is hello, a kid who is really never wanted to become a doctor, but he was forcefully made him to study +2 in the science stream, and he took the exam, something like. Sure, ma'am. It's okay. That kind of right. So sometimes because of the forceful situations of parents, He studied plus two in a science stream, and he cracked the MSET. He joined in a doctor course, MBBS. He did his MBBS without his heart, of course, and he finished off it. But now he is run. I mean, he's after something like he's after something like. And later on, he found that his real interest is in teaching. Is something like serving kids, serving society. Then he appeared for the civils, and he's an IAS now. Like people, this both, it has both positives, negatives. Maybe if he really wanted to stop his parents and say him that I don't want to study this MBBS, I would like to study a general stream of science or social or something like a general kind of degree, and I would like to crack civils. Might have the other student who is next to him in a rank could have joined that MBBS seat, and would have served the people with what he has learned. Being an IAS doesn't mean that he's not doing service. He's not doing such kind of medicine. I mean, medicinal practices and all. It doesn't mean that. But if you do not like a particular thing, then why do you just go and do that? It's nowhere of using doing that if you really do not want to do that. With the force of someone else, with force of something else, you people do that, and you really feel like, aha, this is, I should not have done it. It is really with the most of the present day kids situation. When we really talk to them, they'll say that I don't want to study in this school, sir, but with the force of my parents I'm studying in this. I don't want to be a part of that particular program, but I don't have any other option. My teacher forced me to do it. Right now, let me tell you that this is what a famous quote from Albert Einstein. This is what we always talk about time management also when we apply with that. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depends on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. Even it is applied with some other time management skill, sharpen the saw also, right? So if you have encountered a problem and that problem is really going to change your life, that is really going to affect you a lot, then go directly into the problem. Just go and try to find out that. Right. Even Tejas sir also said a force of my parents had taken science group in intermediate. That happens to sir. That's true. That's true. We may or we may not. Because I'm going to tell you that why we are not a decision makers all that on that particular age. I'll let you know in my further slides. Right. So if that problem is persistent, it is really troublesome, it is really going to change your life, it is really going to change the way you live, then give utmost importance to it. Utmost importance to it. And feel like, this is what my problem. I have to tackle it. I have to handle it. Then, if you really sit with that particular problem, automatically you'll get the options, possible solutions. You'll get a lot of solutions. You'll get. Then out of those all solutions, you'll pick one particular alternative. It's a trial and error sometimes. If it is a new problem for you, you are the first person who is going to face it. Sometimes your option may work. Then many people say, come and tell you that, oh, you have done that. You threw it. Very good. You made it. You're superb. You are wonderful. Sometimes you may not do that. You may not, tackle that problem in a well manner. You may be failed. Then people come and tell you that I thought you couldn't do that. I hope you're never able to do it. It happens. People are there always back of you, in a front of you, and besides you, they do comment all the time. Person, make sure that you are going through that particular task. They are not just they are least bothered about the problem which you are going through, but they almost highly bothered about talking about the way you do it. Maybe sometimes people who talk about you, who talk about your problems, sometimes they may give you positive things to tackle that particular problem. Sometimes it may be a negative thing. So for any problem, there may be a solution, as I already told you. Sometimes the solution may be a give you a positive result, then we may call it as a success. Sometimes it gives you negative, it is a failure. And make sure that with your success, you should not be so on the top of the world. You should not be on the cloud nine saying that I've done that. You're not the only one person to do it. There are likely people, many in the world, they come across such kind of problems, and they through it they sometimes finished better than you also. And sometimes if you taste a failure other than success failure, never feel like you're the only one person who tasted it. Like no one makes a right decision every time, but by developing your decision making skills, you can increase your success rate. That's true. In our class 10 also, those who are teachers here, high school teachers, they'll come to know about it. Every success story is also a story of great failures. When we talk about famous people like Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Alva Edison, these are all people. Their decision making skills might have gone many times wrong. It is a saying that Thomas Alva Edison had ventured his thoughts more than 10,000 times to invent an electric bulb. We are not sure of it. Even I am not sure about it. But those 10,000 times his decisions were wrong. The choices which he took were wrong. It doesn't mean that he never stopped. He started working. He started working on it. And at one point of time, he invented the electric bulb. And there was a press conference going on. A reporter, someone who seems to be feel like I'm a great person, like he questioned Thomas Alva Edison, aren't you feel ashamed of yourself, sir, because you have failed 10,000 times? Then Thomas Alva Edison um, said with a smiling tone, yes, with the formula you'll come to know about how to make or how to invent, how to prepare an electric bulb with one time. But I'm sure I'm the only person in the entire hall who knows how not to make a bulb 10,000 times. You may be knowing that how to make an electric bulb only one time because I'm showing you the theory of it. I'm showing the way how to invent a bulb now. But I'm sure you'll never know how not to make an electric bulb 10,000 times because I have tasted them. I know them. That's what his answer. That's a rightly answer which he said. And as I already told you, the decision making process can be happen two ways: individual, group. So let us see some pros and cons of these both individual and group decision makings. Before that, let me say what is a good decision and what is a bad decision. Many people say that's a good decision you have taken, right? You did not join your some course in that particular college, and you joined some course in this particular college, and because of this particular college course, you made through into your PG, and then after you did something else, and you got a job. So that's a good decision. You shouldn't have followed the first decision which was told by someone else to you. Like I have come across some kind of people um, uh, who are my colleagues, ex-colleagues. They were they did their PG and they did another PG and they got job with the second PG which they did it for some other purposes like a pastime or to be on streaming for some other uh, academic endeavor in their first PG what they had. They just did the second PG for pastime or else for some other purposes, but they got job with that second PG only. So this is how life changes. Sometimes what we took a particular option, it may not give positive. And this is what. And in a good decision, we communicate. We communicate with someone else. We do communicate with our friends. We do communicate with some of our peer group, with our parents, with our near and dear. We'll come to know about it. We'll get a lot of options when we take one particular option. But whereas in a bad decision making, they fail to check on to the facts. They never admit their mistakes. That's the highest kind of living is admitting your mistake. But people fail to admit their mistakes all the time. And adjustment when it comes to good decision, people do adjust themselves to take that decision, to get into that point of time. And when it comes to bad decision, they feel isolation. They feel isolated. Now, this self-isolation is again trolling all the way. It is a buzzword now because in this COVID times now, isolation. Everybody's talking about isolation. But whereas if you are a bad decision maker, then you'll always be in isolation. You will never come up and show your face to people that
Us?
I made that. And sometimes cutting. A good decision makers they cut down the options. They have 20 to 30 options, and they'll prioritize them. They'll come up with one or two options. Plan A, Plan B. If Plan A fails, they'll go with Plan B. If Plan B also fails, then go with C. Such a way. But bad decision makers they never have alternative choice. They go with one strictly mindset. They just feel like I'm going to do it. But uh, the decision which they take sometimes may uh, 1 on 100%, 10 or 100%, like sometimes they may hit the target, but most of the times when they take bad decision they never anticipate the results too. And a good decision maker they visualize because a decision process stages will have particular principles. I'll let you know in my further slides. Statement diagnosing the problem, root cause, and all will have in our further slides. So they visualize what that particular decision will take their life to be. Whereas the bad people who take bad decisions, they do not have decisiveness. They always have indecisiveness. This will burn time, and they never think about others' options. They never think about their root cause. They just live like that, and they always fail in their attempts. So here, I would like to quote one more beautiful sentences. I mean, written by anonymous people. Any action is better than no action. Something is better than nothing. Like it doesn't matter what you do; it just matters that you do in order to learn and move forward. That's true. Instead of doing nothing, doing something is better than, is always better. And moreover, many people say, uh, as I already told you, visualizing. Some people have this visualization in a negative manner too. Not only that, good decision makers visualize things. Sometimes other people do think they do visualize in a negative manner. Array, if I do this, that may or may not work it for me. So I should not do that. So such a mistake uh, visualize such a way they imagine their future, sometimes in a negative manner. A life spent making mistakes is more honorable than a life spent doing nothing. This is true. Our life is a trial and error process. We are nothing but what our earlier people have paved for us. Of course, we are going on a new ways, but most of our life is based on experiences because we live in experiences. We live in realistic life all the time. Let me give you the examples of individual decision making and group decision making. Both have pros and cons. When it comes to individual decision, you take a prompt decision, then and there, quick decision. But whereas in a group, that group may have like-minded or unlike-minded. So when you come up with one of your choice, the other person may say, no, 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 I don't go with that. That's not my point. I would like to go with this point. They say. So where in individual decision, you are the boss. You are the only one person who is going to take that decision and you are going to affect it. So you take the prompt decision and it happens. In a group, it's a time consuming because it is of many people. And an individual, you are having accountability, you are having responsibility. You have to bear every consequences of your action. But whereas in group, it is dominated by various people. So in individual decision making, you have accountability. You say, all right, do you want to really do that? Then you say, yes, I'm on it. I would like to do that. Let me do it. I'm accountable for everything. I'm answerable for everything. And you do it. But whereas in group, dominated by various people. And in individual problem, you have no other option. You'll never escape from that particular problem. You have to uh, make a decision of that particular problem. You have to get out of that problem. There is no chance of escaping. And there are some instances where people they never care their problems. Many people say that I don't want to care my problem, what I'm doing. Such kind of people are there still. And in individual, you can save time, more money, more energy, and you take um, whatever you pick whatever the choice based on your own interest. So your decision making based on your own interest when it comes to individual. Whereas in group, as we said, my way of thinking may not match with others. Sometimes my decision, my choice, my alternative may not yield good result. I feel like so. But when I'm with a group, then someone will come up with a particular answer. Some of them will come with a particular answer where that particular answer attracts me, tells me that yes, this is going to work. Then you feel like you say, hats off. You have given us excellent option. I never had a thought of it. I never thought about it. I never gave my mind on it. You did it. So where you'll discover all hidden talent from all your group and you collect lots of information. When the same problem is with one person, he may explore 10 or 15 options. But if it is with a group, you may come up with hundreds of options. That's what many options. And where the decision which you make values everyone's interest in a group. This is what the pros and cons of individual and group decision. And the same a quote from the same uh, genius, Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problem with the same thinking we used when we create them. That's a wonderful quotation I would like to quote. So we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Yes, who are the creators of all these problems? We ourselves. we create problems and we encounter them and we explore options and we choose a particular alternate and we through it we get success in it. So when you create a problem, you have some mindset. With the same mindset, you cannot solve the problem. This is what we call think out of the box. So that's what the code which I would like to say. There are some skills and qualities which we have to have during this decision making and problem solving. You should have knowledge and expertise in a given field. For example, I'm a science graduate, let us say, but I'm into English teaching now. But basically, I'm a science graduate, right? Like say, I'm also teaching science now. If you come up with some social problem, something like which is related to social or some other than my subject, I'm not expertise on it. I'm not well aware of that particular consequence of that particular problem and things and all. Then I cannot help you to make a decision on it. And past experiences, as I already told you, most of the times we go and talk to others. That's what we call negotiations. That's what we call even brainstorming. We go and we talk to the people. So this is what I'm going through now. What shall I do? Then he says, oh, this problem I have encountered it years ago. Then I did that. Then I did that. Did this. I came out of that particular problem. So whatever the option was given by him may work with you, may not work with you. Sometimes it may work with you, sometimes it may not work with you. So don't think that those people have given me something where I missed and I forgot. And with that particular decision uh, given or option given by him only, I made my life is like this. Now it is miserable, or now it is fruitful. Now it is enjoying. I mean, I'm enjoying with that particular decision. Sometimes it may give positive, sometimes it may give negative. And communication skills. So you should explain your problem to others. You should be able to explain what exactly you are going through. Sometimes miscommunication also leads to pick a poor choice from your alternatives. And self-confidence and conviction. You should have a self-confidence and a conviction, belief, trust in you. Analytical skills, which I'm going to deal about now. And time management skills. You should be time conscious. That should be addressed only this day. You should not procrastinate. You should not uh, stop it for the next day. You have to finish it off then and there itself. And creativity. What is creativity? What is innovativeness? Can anyone say what is creativity?
Thinking in an innovative manner.
That's true, ma'am. Doing the same thing. You are doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing, but I do it in a different style. That is called creativity. So that is already there. But what you do it in a different manner.
Different.
I don't do like you. I do it in my own way, my own style. So that is what creativity. It doesn't mean that you have to go and explore some other new option than given options which you have. So this is what the creativity of a thing is also should be there. And last but not the least is accountability and responsibility, as I already discussed in my earlier slide. An individual, this is very more. I mean, more of accountability will be seen, more of responsibility will be seen. But whereas in a group C there, the boat it is sinking, and there are four people. Two are at one end and two are at another end. These two people are trying to pump out of water which is already there in the boat. And those two people who are on the other side saying that, thank God the hole is not in my side. So this is how happens with a group, uh, decision making sometimes. Sometimes it may be positive, sometimes it may be negative. Right. So this accountability and responsibility also should be there. And what are the stages of problem solving? So first, as I already told you, you have to identify the problem, the root cause, as Chandrasekhar sir said, and the structure of the problem. Is it going to affect you in a big manner, in a simple manner, in a trivial manner? If it is a trivial one, we don't care about it. Let that problem be desolated, left over like. Looking for a possible solution, not only possible solution, looking for lots of solutions. And out of those all possible solutions, we pick one and we make a decision. And when we pick a particular option, then we evaluate the alternatives. If I pick this, what may happen? This is what we call pre-notions. And if you feel like, this is going to work it for me, this is going to do it for me, then you try implementation. And finally, you monitor and you seek feedback from others, and they say you are exceptional in that. Then you advise the two others too. So these are the stages of problem solving. And this is what about the thing about. Let me tell you the first thing: identifying the problem. What is your goal and what is your barrier? For example, I want to get a job in Hyderabad, but my parents are saying now Hyderabad, no beta. You please don't move to Hyderabad. You be here itself, because Hyderabad is not a safest place now. I don't want you to go there. That's a barrier for me now. I would like to work in Hyderabad, but my parents are not allowing me to do it. So that's a barrier. Then you identified it that it is with only pandemic COVID. Then you say that, I take all proper healthcare measures and I can go and I can do that. That's what a goal. Then you'll have a barrier. The same thing with the structuring the problem. You are working with a company and you have got a job offer with the B company. Uh, so your B company is going to give you a lot of, sorry, that's move. Your B company is going to give you a high ransom salary than your A company, but that is very far off place from you. You don't have transportations. And if you move to that particular place, you have to move to that particular place and you have to be there. Leave behind your parents or someone else there. So this is what. So there is your job, and you have money and family. These two things are again barriers for you, and how you are going to manage them. That's again observing and collecting more details. You could relocate your parents to that new place so that you can enjoy your new job, or else you can say that, okay, fine, I'm still young, I can get more options in my own place. So why not try it again? Why not give it a try for the same again in my same field, in my same area? So that's again. So these are going to be, address all your problems all the way. And possible solutions, questions, assumptions, brainstorming, divergent thinking, and convergent thinking. Here I would like to tell you uh, the way of thinking process. You have two kinds of brains, left brain and right brain. Many people might have known about it. So when it comes to left brain, it is verbal. It more gives more importance to verbal. Whereas when it comes to right brain, it gives visual. Visualization will always happen with right brain. So when it comes to that left brain, uh, as I said, verbal, then it is convergent thinking. When it is visualization, then it goes with the divergent thinking. So your convergent thinking, your divergent thinking is based on your way of thinking. as there is a saying I would love to uh, always quote in my talks from Paradise Lost. John Milton said, and I should smile myself because my friends called me. I mean, they used to address me in my PG days, John Milton. Milton. Your mind is in its own place. Your mind is in its own place. Itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. Your mind lies in the same place. It doesn't go anywhere. It never moves anywhere. It is already there. But the way you think, it makes a heaven as a hell and a hell as a heaven. So your thinking always matters when it comes to your decision making. That's what making a decision. Based on your convergent thinking and divergent thinking, you're using your left brain, right brain, your analytical power, your creative power, and your observations, your imaginations. All these leads to make a decision. This is most complex part of problem solving. When you make a decision, then you'll come to know about how yes, this is going to uh, give me the positive result. And the implementation, as I already told you, once you come to know about the implementation, this you have to think about it. You have to give a thought about it. During the implementation stage, more problems may arise, especially if identification or structuring of the original problem was not carried out fully. So where it does happen, why it does happen? Because when you miscommunicate your problem to other, or when you misinterpret your problem to yourself. So this is you may think the problem is one thing, but the problem is some other thing. You thought of something, and that is some other thing. So where after you take all these stages, you come across all these stages, you make a decision and you are implementing it, but then you felt, this is not the right choice. Then again you go back to the first stage. Then you'll come to know, this is where I missed. This is where I thought the problem is. And the monitoring and seeking feedback, that always happen. So how do we make decisions? There are 6 C's of decision making. The first thing is construct. What you construct, a clear picture of precisely what must be decided. So when you are encountering a problem, then you must have a clear picture of the problem which you have, and compile a list of requirements that must be met. As I already told you, uh, when you have lot of things, then you try to compile lot of requirements. What should I need to deal with this problem? And collecting lots of information based on that, and lots of choices, and then we compare which may work, which may not work, which will suit for me, which will not suit for me, and then you consider it. That is nothing but making a decision, and finally you commit it and you go through it. And let me tell you, there are two kinds of decision styles, as I already told you, individual and group. Now, the leader driven decisions too are individual, the employee driven decisions too are group. So what are individual decisions? Unilateral, directive, and consultative. So these two are decisions styles taken by individuals, and whereas a group decision styles come across majority vote democratic, which we call, uh, and the another one is consensus. So what is a directive? What is a conceptual? What is a consensus? What is consultative? Let us see. So the directive decision making, as I already told you, that relies on autocratic, one particular person, leader driven, one person driven, where one who is in charge of that particular thing, and he says, "Salam, let's finish off it. I don't give you any other options to you. I just tell you that do it. Fine. This is what directive. As the time is going away, yes, I'm sorry, sir. I'm taking too much of time. The conceptual is decision making style with the same individuals, the same individuals. This is what it happens. And the another two other styles of group consultative means a lot of consultations among all the people, and consensus means giving prioritizations to all people. That's what in a group consultation, this is what. And this is nothing but more goals, options, facts, effects, and reviews, which was uh, which was proposed by psychologist Leoman in 1980s. It was way back in his book addressing teaching decision making to adolescents. And the process mostly based upon goals, clarifications, options, facts, and effects and reviews. The another one is a decide model where you define the problem and we establish the criteria and we consider something, the alternatives, and we take consider of all choices. And finally, we identify the best alternatives and we develop and implement a plan of action there and we evaluate it. So these are the things we always look for. These are the things we always look for. And finally, unpopular opinions. Many people say the life is full of tough decisions that need to be made. And you may feel like this may work or this may not work. It should not. Remember that what's right isn't always popular, and what's popular isn't always right. So with the same problem, for example, I would like to sit for civils examinations. Someone has cropped it civil, and I just met him and I took all his preparation styles. I'm not sure whether those kind of preparation styles will make me to crack civils or not, but I'll have a rough idea about it, how to get prepared, how to be, how to crack that particular examination. And remember that most of the problems in life happen in only two ways. We act without thinking, and we keep thinking without acting. These two are the major sources of problems for us. Instead of running away from your problems, run towards your solutions. This is what, and yes, solve the problem or leave the problem, but do not live with the problem. And never take permanent decisions on temporary feelings because it affects a lot. And with this, I would like to conclude my talk. And I'm open for suggestions. Over to you, sir. Mahipati, sir. Sorry if I
Thank, thank you, Naresh.
went
Thank you so much. It
dragged.
was not like general session, like regular routine. It was wonderful that you have done a lot of work, and I can say that you presented like a research paper. No, you have quoted many scientists who have done a lot of research on the models. No, you made us to know a lot of models. So now I request it is open for the
Thank you,
Q&A.
sir.
If you have any Q&A, you can ask. I request you to raise your hand so that I will unmute so that you can ask the queries. I think decision making is also, no, you need to make a decision to ask a query also, if I'm right. It's open for decision. It's open for you to make a decision to ask query. Yeah, anyone else, you can raise your hand so that we'll unmute and you can speak. I think I hope that no, they have understood completely, so that may be the reason. And even you can ask, you can share your learnings if you have any learnings in a specific session. What did you like, and what was the most important thing which you liked, and which you would like to implement in your day-to-day life? You can share. You know that the last quote he was telling that no, act without thinking, thinking without acting. Both are not no good for us to be successful. So, Mahesh would like to speak something. Mahesh, Madhu, Radha, Harita. Madam, would you like to share some concluding remarks about the learnings? Uh, Rahat, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting. Actually, I didn't expect so much narrator. Narrator.
Madam.
You have done really a research like that. It was very interesting in detail, in depth. You have explained everything.
Thank you, madam.
So, first of all, in order to solve any problem, we should go ahead with a positive attitude, but
That's true.
which is one of the basic requirement. First of all,
That's true, ma'am.
without that and confidence, we can't go and solve any problem. You know, in the daily life, we face so many problems, and it is one of the interesting topic and also a part of our syllabi also in our graduation. So that's why you have done a great research. It's very interesting.
Thank you, madam.
Even I learned so many things. In spite of our other meeting, also I skipped simply that meeting and joined again your meeting.
Thank you. That's
Thank you,
that's
Naresh.
so that's so nice of you. So good of you. I'm
I wish
honored.
you all, no, I wish you all the best, sir. You try to continue so many things like that because as you are the native of Nalgonda, it is very important and essential for you to continue such programs for our students for the benefit of
Sure,
the
ma'am.
students.
I'll do that.
Most of the
I just
students
took
will
a
get
break. I just
inspired.
took a break earlier. I worked as a soft skills trainer corporate.
Okay.
But now I'm into teaching, so I'm not coping up with these two things. Moreover, it's a different
Yeah.
format,
Whenever you
residential
get
school.
leisure, whenever you get leisure, try to give some time to
I'll
body
try
this
to do
also
that.
because it's a
I'll
part
try
and
to
parcel
do.
of our profession, soft skills also.
That's true, ma'am. That's true, ma'am.
Yeah, very nice to have you, both of you
Thank
here.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Right, so nice. Good luck.
Mahipati, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
ma'am, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. It's nice.
Speak little louder, ma'am. Vandana, ma'am, you are not audible. Harita, ma'am, you can.
Actually, I like the one, the 6 C's of.
Oh, that's good. Yes, ma'am. The 6 C's of
I like the one, the 6 C's of decision making. Though I like all the things that
Madam, your voice is breaking. It's not so clearly.
Because of internet connectivity.
Yes, cause of internet
am
connectivity.
I still
Still, ma'am, your voice is lagging. It's not audible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Harita, ma'am. Vandana, ma'am, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself and speak. Yeah, before we conclude the session, I request Chandrasekhar, the corporate trainer, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Srinivas. Before going into the, it's a privilege to offer a vote of thanks to Naresh, such a wonderful session. Naresh, I have a query. I raised my hand long ago. I could not get the opportunity.
Sir,
May
please.
I go ahead with the query?
Sure, sir, please. You can.
Yes. Well, problem solving, decision making, both are, both going hand in hand, and at the same time, both are, they add, one more quality for a human being to be decisive at that particular point of time. I personally feel
Yes.
it's a never-ending process of learning and a permanent excellence quality of decision making. No matter how much we,
Yes, sir.
get experience, we still have, something to, enhance or maybe update. In that
Yes,
perspective, decision making, you gave really a great a roadmap, like plan and everything, but still.
sir.
Speaking theoretically is different from having encountering practical things.
Situation.
Like what I mean to ask you here is, every time we don't have the sweet ample time to make a decision. For example, drivers, when they are encounter a vehicle in the opposite direction, they have to make swift decisions. There is no other option, and
Yeah.
sometimes we have our own ample time, and this is the time actually is what matters to make a decision, taking a right decision in the right time, to
Right time.
making use of right period of time, whatever.
Choice.
So how best you can suggest to make a decision, to make a decision, timely decision, I mean. Hope you got my point.
A swift decision, then and there
Yep.
itself, like
Swift, as well as when you have time, you can
apt,
take
apt,
time and
apt also,
apt.
apt
Yes.
also,
Sometimes
apt
we
one.
rush through, even though we have, because of insecure feelings or whatever. Hope you got it, no? How to
That's true,
balance
sir.
that?
That's what I already mentioned in my earlier case study. During this pandemic, most of the people have lost their employment.
Hmm.
Now they have no chance of thinking about the same job, doing the same job nowadays, because institutions are shut. They are not even allowing. Even the government employees also have faced some problems for 3 months. Like so, we are not even out of it. But the thing is that there, acting with your mind, thinking with what you really are capable of. I have come across a few of my friends who are now in sales field. They are doing that. They are still doing that. They took a decision that, okay, fine. Now I may not be into teaching. I let me take something into something where I can have be feeded, where I can feed my family, because he is a single earning person in a family. Like, and when it comes to your question, that's what the Albert Einstein quote I would like to mention you. If you have 1 hour of time and that problem is inevitable to you, you cannot escape from it. It is going to nail you, pin you down. You have to give 55 minutes for your thinking, taking the best option. Then 5 minutes of time is enough for plan of action.
Yeah.
That's it, sir.
Nice one. Nice one. Good. Shall I go ahead with a vote of thanks, or somebody is waiting for
I think
asking the
Harita
question?
ma'am would like to ask a question. Harita ma'am, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Congratulations, Mr. Naresh, for that exhaustive session, if I can call so. I think
Thank you, Harry.
every aspect is being covered. I was trying to look for a question where I can pose, but I really didn't get any opportunity for a question to ask you. Just in a single sentence, could you please tell me how can I make sure that my decision is right? What is that one tip I need to follow to say that my decision that I have taken is correct?
To be frank, for everyone, their decision is always right.
Wonderful answer
with,
again,
with,
Naresh.
with
But what is
one such
expected
with
is,
one such
yeah,
a sense of thought only, we make a decision from lot of
Exactly.
alternatives. That's a kind of trial and error go method, like Harry. To be
Okay.
frank, precisely, you took one particular uh, alternative from lot of choices from you. You took one thing and you applied it. You didn't get it. Then it is not going to work with you. But I am not sure that that particular option which you have taken may not work with me. It may work with me sometimes, right? So it happens in a course of time. Sometimes, and moreover, the answer which I gave to Chandrasekhar sir also lies in your question.
Exactly.
When you
My
give
question is an
ample of time
extension of
for,
Mr. Chandrasekhar's.
that's what. Uh,
Yeah.
when you give ample time for your question, if you are decisive, if you know really the root of your problem, how, when, why, what, and why, really, then I'm sure you'll come up with 3 or 4 or 5 options with you. Go with a plan A. If it doesn't work, then go with plan B. Then if it still it doesn't work with you, go with the C. It's like a trial and error method where we cannot expect that I'm God. There is nobody perfect in this world. If somebody is perfect, then he must be in a museum, not with society. He should be kept in museum.
Uh, okay. One last suggestion from you, if I can get so. Could you please tell me what is the place of emotion in decision making? Do you think it carries a place? If so, where does it fall
Surely,
into?
surely. It always matters. Emotions are the things because that's what I mentioned in my uh, the talk, earlier talk, like in my early of talk.
Okay.
You are going through that problem. I'm just beside you. They'll give you a lot of options to you. Hey, do like this, do like that. Because you are the one, you are going through it. You suffer through it. You experience through it. Then you'll come to know that is it really going to work with you or not? Are you really going to work with it or not? So there, that emotions really carries, and that happens with these 6 C's of decision making. When you just go with consultations, when you have collect a lot of information, when you compare that with someone, when you consider something, and when you commit, then automatically uh, hope hope so that you can take the right decision in the right time for right thing. I hope I tried to answer your question, Harita.
Yes,
Sure
yes.
whether I could answer to you. I could be able to answer to your question or not.
See, most, I mean,
Naresh. Thank you for the explanation. And I would like to add to that. No, it depends upon heart or head, or head or heart. Depends upon the person you are, and what is the outcome that you're expected also.
right.
Naresh
I
rightly
agree.
said that it's all left to the individual personality and their outcomes and all. No, no,
True.
people explained, Naresh. Thank you for asking the right question, ma'am, because that's there for everyone. We need to go by heart or by heart,
Exactly.
by brain. No, the head and the heart are both. No,
Yeah,
sometimes
that's a constant conflict that every human
yes,
being.
exactly.
uh,
Everyone will undergo this constant conflict, and some people give more preference or more priority to the heart. Some people give more priority to the head. We find this kind of conflict, especially in the administration.
True.
They are into the role of a principal or administrators or maybe head of the department like that.
Exactly.
They like to, we do have. Thank you for
Uh,
asking that pertinent question, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I
thank you.
request Chandrasekhar to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Srinivas. Before going ahead with the vote of thanks, and I would like to, I don't know, it would be a bit exaggeration to what you said and Naresh said. Uh, I would like to congratulate Harita Madam, I think so, who asked the apt question just before, and I would like to just add on for the question like. How can I feel whether the decision that has been taken by me is apt or not? For that question, my view is like beginning finding out as many options as possible is the one thing, and ticking all the boxes is the another one. And lastly, what I would like to say is, until we take a decision, we have to work on it as much as we can. Once we make a decision, we have to believe that that is the best one which is going to work for us. Once we take, it's all over, and we can only better it, and we can go ahead and try to do it in the best possible manner. So thinking that we have done the best thing is one of the best answers that I can give. Hope you agree with me.
Well said.
Well, now, it's a privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks, Naresh.
Thank you,
I
sir.
had just listened to you in bits and pieces in the previous meetings. Today I got to listen to you full time. It was pleasure, overwhelming, and whatnot. And coming to the topic itself, it's a need of the hour, as I rightly said. And more often than not, decision making is taken for granted, and we don't actually go through the process that we have in hand, which is a blueprint like thing, and we don't actually take time or risk in going through that. It's as simple as that. Sometimes we just want to just go ahead and abruptly and without any thought process, we just take it. More often than not, it happens. If not with everyone, more often than it happens with people. That's why decision making is uh, most prominent in one's life. And second thing, you came up with grassroots level planning, and even all the options, finding the options, and the troubleshooting was really awesome and impressed me a lot. And you tried to find out more and more material from the participants itself. That's a beauty in any presentation. That was all the boxes were ticked by you. And at the same time, giving very insightful and thoughtful, thought-provoking quotes in between, like the life spent making mistakes is worth when compared to the life spent without doing anything. And there are n number, if I can mention. At last, what I would like to tell is, responsibility and decisioning is a luxury. Of course, yes, it is a package deal with, again, opportunity along with responsibility. And when that is balanced, I think it is going to be good. And everything was good about it. I can go ahead and speak many things, as we are running out of time for the next session. And I'm just, I would like to conclude here by complimenting you and saying kudos to you. A wonderful session. I would like
Yes.
to listen to you more and more in the coming sessions. Right. Thank you, Mahipati, for giving me this great opportunity, and thank you one and all for sparing your time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir. In fact,
Chandrasekhar. A special thanks to Naresh for
thank
not
you,
only
sir.
delivering the session but also supporting by referring the intellectuals for this channel. Thank you very much, Naresh sir, and thank you, Chandrasekhar, for proposing vote of thanks. Thank you, ma'am, Rahat ma'am. Thank you, Bhavani ma'am. Thank you, Divya ma'am, and thank you, Radha ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Fayaz Pasha sir and Arita ma'am, Ramarao sir, Venugopal sir, Ravi sir. Thanks everyone for your time and spending your time to learn and unlearn and relearn through Dr. Naresh, who has made us to know a lot of things about problem solving and decision making and problem solving. Thank you, one and all. And if anybody is
Sir,
interested to discuss
before you end up the meeting, I would like to I would like to thank all the participants here. Dr. Rahatkana Madam, who is the principal of NG College in Nalgonda, prestigious institutions, premier institutions in our Telangana state, for such a wonderful time. She spent almost all the time with my session. And thank you, Chandrasekhar sir, for your insightful and I feel like I'm not able to cope up with your words which you have proposed in your vote of thanks. I'm honored.
No, you
Thank you,
deserve it.
Divya. Thank you, Divya, and thank you, Radha ma'am. Thank you, Bhavani madam. Thank you, Fayaz Pasha. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Rama Razer. Thank you, Venu Anna. And those who left, Madhu and Mahesh, I would like to thank the reason for this particular talk, Dr. Mahipati Garu, as he is continuously striving and spending his time to educate people during this pandemic time also with his talks. He is driving all the intellectuals into one platform. I don't say that I'm able to be called as that particular scenario. I'm just a friend to him. And he always refers me, Naresh, when you go to give a class. Finally, the day has come and I'm indebted to you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to deliver my session in your thing, in your talks. And I always thankful to you for this opportunity. Thank you one and all for sparing your time and listening to my uh, talk. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to invite, if anybody is interested to share your knowledge, you can always, I have shared my number in the chat box, or else you can contact Naresh. And also you can subscribe the channel. Dr. Mahipati Srinivasa is the name of the channel. Please subscribe. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.